Welcome back, explorers of the forgotten past. Today, we journey into a war so ancient, so devastating, and so deeply buried beneath myth and ruin, that most historians refuse to believe it ever happened. But new findings suggest otherwise. Get ready because what you're about to discover may rewrite everything we know about ancient civilization. For centuries, whispers of an unknown war appeared in fragments. Mesopotamian tablets, loose lines in Egyptian hymns, even in later Greek oral traditions. A conflict so immense it supposedly shook the pillars of the world. Most dismissed these accounts as mythology. But everything changed in 1997, when archaeologists excavating near Mount Nemrut uncovered a stone chamber containing what they now call the Chronicle of the Dawn War. Inside were shattered carvings, depicting a battle between two forces. One mortal. One not entirely human. And this is where the mystery begins. The chronicle described a city called Aramont, said to be the heart of the First Kingdom. But here's the strange part, no known map or record mentions Aramont. It simply vanished from history. Satellite scans later revealed something chilling, a circular ruin beneath layers of sediment stretching over a kilometer wide. Not a town. Not a city. A fortress. One built in anticipation of an attack. Who or what were they preparing to fight? The chronicle speaks of the Colossi of the northern range, beings described as giants of living stone, their bodies carved with glowing lines like molten metal. But here is where the story fractures. Were the Colossi real? Some scholars say the carving symbolized invading tribes. Others argue they represent something else, something like the Nephilim myths of the Near East. But the most shocking detail? The chronicle states clearly. We heard them walking before we saw them. Footsteps that shook the earth. Aramont's ruler, King Selenar, attempted diplomacy. Messengers were sent. None returned. So he turned to his last option, assembling what ancient writings describe as the 12 Legions of Dawn. 12 elite units, trained from childhood, each specializing in a unique battlefield art. Archers, shield masters, cavalry, fire-bearers, storm-lancers. The chronicle lists them all, except Legion 12. Its name is either scratched away or never carved. And whatever they were, they terrified even their allies. The chronicle describes the first engagement in staggering detail. The ground trembled. Dust rose in curtains. And then out of the haze massive silhouettes advancing. The Colossi didn't rush. They didn't roar. They simply walked forward. The humans launched volleys of arrows. They struck stone, bounced off, shattered. The first casualty reported was not a soldier. But the hill beneath them, split in two by a colossus strike. The chronicle states a single phrase that historians still cannot explain. Then came the fire that obeyed. Many interpret this as an early use of military pyrotechnics, oil fires, tar, or early Greek fire-type mixtures. But the carvings show something else. A lone warrior, holding a blade engulfed in controlled flame, charging directly at a colossus. Some say he was the commander of Legion 12. Others say he was a myth. But the carvings show him driving that burning weapon into the colossus' chest. And for the first time, a giant fell. The death of the first colossus shifted the entire battlefield. The giants roared for the first and only time in the chronicle's account, a sound like mountains breaking. They charged. Humans scattered. Entire battalions were wiped out in minutes. Yet the Dawn legions held their ground. The cavalry swarmed the legs of one giant. Shield masters formed walls to deflect debris. Archers aimed for the glowing cracks. And after hours of carnage, the giants began to fall. But the victory came with a cost. Aramont itself had been shattered. According to the chronicle, only 1/3 of the Dawn Legion survived. King Selenar ordered Aramont's evacuation. Not because they lost, but because they feared the giant's return. The carvings end with a haunting final line. We won the war, but we woke something older. What did they wake? No one knows. Because the chronicle abruptly stops unfinished, as if the writer fled mid-sentence. In 2022, geologists scanning the Nemrut region found unexplained seismic scars, patterns aligning almost perfectly with the chronicle's timeline. Massive impacts. Ground ruptures. Compression zones. As if something heavy, very heavy walked across the land. And then there's the strangest discovery. Fragments of a stone material that does not match local geology. Composition. Unknown. Density. Higher than granite. Purpose. Still debated. But some researchers have another theory. These fragments weren't natural. They were remains. New scans of the chronicle reveal faint etchings previously unseen. A sigil. A symbol belonging to the erased Legion 12. It resembles a flame. Wrapped in chains. Why chains? Was their fire dangerous? Or not entirely human? Whatever Legion 12 was. Its members disappeared from all records after the battle. Some believe they were protectors. Others believe they were the threat King Selenar feared most. This battle is missing from every major historical timeline. No textbooks. No official accounts. Only scattered myths across cultures that never should have interacted. Why hide a war of this scale? To protect future generations? To conceal a power once wielded by humans? Or because the enemy might still exist? So tell me, if this war truly happened, what do you think the Colossi were? Ancient enemies, mythic beings, or something far more advanced than we've ever imagined? Subscribe for more.